Let's get the show on the road. Welcome back, good people. It's your boy Ray GQ. This is Destination Devy, and this is the Dynasty Trade Show here exclusively on FTN. Make sure you subscribe to In the Lab, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever the hell you listen to your podcast at. Make sure you sub to In the Lab because that's where this show outside of YouTube is going to drop every single week. I kind of talked about this before the hiatus. Your boy was dealing with COVID and then trying to get the new studio set up for the new morning show, Wake Up with Ray G, starting next Wednesday, August the 11th. Make sure you're following my Twitter at RayGQ. We'll be streaming live there. Catch it on YouTube, catch it on Twitter, Periscope, wherever the hell it streams to. But excited to dive into some of these deals today. I got the patrons with me, so we'll have some commentary pop up on the screen. Got a lot of trades that we have to get through, and a lot of them involving rookies, and that's to be expected with training camp kicking off and under full swing. We get to see some of these young guys against NFL talent. So now that's where the positioning and roster construction and the building goes on here in our Dynasty League. So we got a lot to get to today. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to look at. And as we go through this, we'll sort of discuss some of the things that the patrons are doing and why they're doing it, and just my kind of take on it. So I'm excited to check out the comments to see how terrible I do at judging these trades. But without further ado, drop the intro, baby. All right, so the talk of camp, the talk of training camp has been one CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver of the Dallas Cowboys, making spectacular grabs, seems like every single day in training camp practice. So right here, we have a deal with CeeDee Lamb being the prize acquisition in this deal. CeeDee Lamb was acquired for Terry McLaurin and T. Higgins. So this is, listen, we had to kick it off with CeeDee Lamb or Terry McLaurin and T. Higgins. This is what I'm going to say. I think from a point and value perspective, regardless of the format, single quarterback, super flex, PPR, half point, PPR, standard league, the scoring of two, McLaurin and Higgins, who Terry McLaurin is the wide receiver one for the Washington football team. There's no doubt about that. One of the best young wide receivers in the NFL. I think he's a top 12 dynasty wide receiver. And then T. Higgins, we know that the potential that he has can be a perennial 1,000-yard receiver for the Bengals with Joe Burrow, even with Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd there. If you're talking value and points, man, it's Terry McLaurin and CeeDee Lamb. It's Terry McLaurin and T. Higgins. I love CeeDee Lamb. I think he's the a top 3 dynasty wide receiver at this point, regardless of format. And to have him on your team, it feels good, right? Like you want a piece of the Dallas offense. You want CeeDee Lamb on your roster. But I don't think that I could give up Terry McLaurin and T. Higgins in order to get Lamb. And part of the game is having fun with it and getting and acquiring players that you like. That's what makes fantasy football so damn fun. But what's funner than getting players that you actually like is scoring fantasy points and winning. And even on CeeDee Lamb's best day, if he goes out there and has a 35-point week, and you got McLaurin that's giving you 22, 23, or T. Higgins that's giving you 18, 19, or, I'm just throwing numbers out there. I just think the combination of Terry McLaurin and T. Higgins usurps that of just a singular CeeDee Lamb in this deal, regardless of how great Lamb would be. So in this situation, although I love CeeDee Lamb, I think you got to go Terry McLaurin and T. Higgins as the winner of this side of the deal. So it's hard to say that anybody is a loser when you acquire CeeDee Lamb. So I won't go that far to say that individual lost the deal, but you definitely lost some value giving up McLaurin and Higgins. That's the side of the deal that I want. All right. Let's take a look at another player, man, who everything has seemed to have just fallen on his shoulders right now. Injuries decimating the Indianapolis Colts. Carson Wentz out 5-12. Quentin Nelson out 5-12. Foot injuries. We don't know how, if any of that will linger. Does it reach the max 12 weeks? Jonathan Taylor was acquired for 2 2022 first-round picks and a 2022 second. So this deal is actually a deal that I made during the season last year, and I got 2 2022 first in Cortland Sutton for Jonathan Taylor, and I was pretty happy with that return. You know, I know there's a lot of panic and fear about JT because of the situation in Indianapolis right now, but make no mistake about it. On his worst day, he's the 5th Dynasty RB5 on his worst day. And on his best day, you see him going as the RB2, RB3 in Dynasty formats. I think this is a case of you can't be so short-sighted in Dynasty, and I know the name of the game is to win every single year. But at this stage of where I'm at and my evaluation of the 2022 NFL draft class, if we're projecting those 2022 first-round picks to be like, let's just say 6-7. Let's say 6-7. In a super flex league, you're probably going to walk away with one of the top quarterbacks that we still, Carson Strong, Malik Willis, Matt Corral, and then you possibly walk away with one of the top running backs, whether you believe that's Eric Gray or Isaiah Spiller, Breece Hall. You probably got a shot at one of those guys. I still want Jonathan Taylor. And, you know, as I reflect back to the trade that I made, and I got 2 2021 first, and I believe I turned those picks into Kyle Pitts in a tight end premium league, and I think Justin Fields. It was Kyle Pitts, Justin Fields, and Cortland Sutton for Jonathan Taylor. I'm happy with that. This trade right here, I want Jonathan Taylor over those 2 2022 first-round picks and the 2022 second. I don't think that's bad return for JT. I just think you're hoping and praying that Isaiah Spiller or Eric Gray turn into the type of running back and the type of volume that Jonathan Taylor is going to walk into this season, despite the question marks at offensive guard and quarterback right now for at least the short term. This is a side of the deal where I want JT, so I think this was a good deal for Logan Too Real. I like JT. And the other side, who got the picks, you know, you're probably building for if you're trading JT, first of all, if you're trading JT for a whole bunch of picks, I kind of don't know what you're doing, because if you're in a rebuild mode, I mean, you got a second-year stud at running back. Why would you give him away? It just feels like you're taking unnecessary risks in a rebuild if that's what you're going for. I don't know, man. And Stone just said on the screen, if Nelson comes back 6 to 7 weeks, JT will be an RB1 regardless. Yeah, man, he's an RB1 straight up. Evan said the same. He's still a top 3 Dynasty RB. And that's why I don't understand that deal. Because if you're in rebuild mode, why not build with the top 3 running back? It just kind of doesn't make sense, in my opinion. So give me Jonathan Taylor. All right. This is a deal. And these are 3 players that I've talked about on the YouTube channel, did film breakdowns: Jerry Jeudy, Antonio Gibson, and Laviska Shenault. Y'all know I have been preaching from the high heavens, from the mountaintop, that I truly believe that Jerry Jeudy is the second coming of Stephon Diggs. And just wait until the Denver Broncos get a quarterback, whether that be Deshaun Watson or somebody in the 2022 or 2023 draft or a trade. I think that offense is just going to go nuclear with Sutton, with Hamler, with Fant, with Jeudy. Judy's an alpha, man. I love Cortland Sutton, but Jerry Jeudy is a dog. He's the guy. So right here, we have Jerry Jeudy and Antonio Gibson being acquired for Devontae Adams and Laviska Shenault. So Jeudy and Gibson, Adams and Shenault. Adams and Shenault, Jeudy and Gibson. The best player in the deal is Devontae Adams. He's the best player in the deal. He's the best wide receiver in the NFL. The hype for Laviska Shenault has reached fever pitch levels. I do believe that this Jacksonville offense is going to be much improved. They have 3 really good pass catchers, and they've got talented running backs and an awesome quarterback. But I think the hype of Shenault and what we want him to be, I don't know if he's going to be that, man. I don't know if Laviska Shenault, with DJ Chark, with Marvin Jones, with Travis Etienne, with James Robinson, is a 1,000-yard receiver right now at this stage of his career. I can see Laviska putting up a stat line of however many receptions, 860 yards, gives you another 150 on the ground, has some blow-up weeks where he scores a bunch of touchdowns. But I want Jared Jeudy and Antonio Gibson. Although Davante Adams is the wide receiver one in Dynasty today at 28 years old, the age is starting to get there, and you factor that in. In Dynasty, you have to factor that in. I want Jeudy and Gibson, man. You've got a stud running back who is the guy in Washington. You've got a young, ascending second-year wide receiver in Jeudy, who, again, Stephon Diggs 2.0. I think this is a good deal for both teams. You get younger with Jeudy and Gibson. You get a dynamic, awesome, elite wide receiver in Davante Adams for the other side, and then a young, what's Laviska? WR3 flex play right now. He's not a wide receiver too, so don't jump to that. That's what you want him to become. But right now he's more of a wide receiver 3 flex play. So you get a wide receiver 2. Let's give Jeudy. Let's go low end. Let's be conservative. You get a wide receiver 2 and an RB1 for a flex wide receiver 3 and an elite wide receiver 1. I want Jeudy and Gibson over Adams and Shenault. I'm pretty sure I'll see a little pushback on this, but I'd feel comfortable with it in Dynasty, man. Give me Jeudy, give me Gibson, but that's no slight and knock to Davante Adams and Laviska Shenault. None whatsoever. So let's I'd be interested to hear what y'all think about that one. That one is that's a good deal. It's a good deal. I like that. You down tier at receiver, but then you upgrade at the running back spot. Give up another wide receiver with Jeudy. I like that, man. All right. Saquon, another guy who's in the news, and a report just dropped. This trade didn't happen yesterday, but a report dropped that he may not be ready until week 3, and then they're going to ease him in. We don't really know. So Saquon Barkley. We got Saquon Barkley and Russell Gage being acquired for 2 2022 first-round picks and Myles Gaskin. So 2 2022 firsts and Myles Gaskin for Russell Gage, who right now looks to be locked into a starting wide receiver role with the Atlanta Falcons, and Saquon Barkley. We know he's coming off of that ACL injury, but I mean, shit, still a top 5 dynasty running back and should be a top 12 dynasty asset, but because of the injury, we're seeing him fall in the second round. Dynasty leagues, man, Saquon just tumbling down off of that ACL when all the Giants are trying to do, one of the good things, the right things that they're trying to do is take it slow with their stud running back. So, give me Saquon. I want Saquon. I think Gaskin is going to be outstanding this year. He was very, very good on a per-game basis last season. But there were reports that the Dolphins were looking to replace Gaskin. They would have taken Javonte Williams had he had been there in the second round, but Denver beat him to the punch. He's one of the best collegiate running backs of all time. I think he's severely underrated because of his size. But if I'm just looking at like longevity and what I feel more comfortable in, again, we just had this conversation a couple of trades ago about those 2022 first. If you're 6'7", in a super flex, or even worse, if it's 1 QB, you're definitely out of there for the top running backs. Like Breece Hall, Isaiah Spiller, Eric Gray are gone. So probably Treylon Burks is out of the picture. So you're in Chris Olave territory. I want Saquon. I still believe in Saquon, and I love when the patrons put their whole squad up there so you can kind of see what they're working with now. And since he's got it up, we can take a look at what this deal did for his team. Instead of rolling out Russell Wilson, Miles Sanders, and Myles Gaskin, you're rolling out Wilson, Sanders, Barkley, Chris Godwin, Kenny G, Mike Evans, dope, Darren Waller, Kittle, Juju, Kupp, Tanny. I like that deal for that squad. And I'm just going to assume, again, that my dog Brandon is in a rebuild mode or a youth movement. I still think Saquon Barkley fits the mold for a youth movement, man. Like, he's still young. He's not old. This is his, third NFL season? Year 3 for Saquon? Year 4? Shit, I don't think it's year 4. 18, 19, 20, 21. Year 3, man. I think this is a bet on health. And, sometimes it's fun to have those picks. But I think this is a smash side for Saquon. And in the chat, Evan says, feels like that was a freebie in the trade, Gage. Saquon should be worth the package himself. That's where I'm at, man. I really like that Saquon side. And let's just pivot back to that Adams deal. So This is interesting. When it comes to Adams and Dynasty, you have to ask yourself, will he remain wide receiver 4 or better regardless of quarterback? Because the Rodgers-Adams connection will end more than likely. And we saw that as well, where Green Bay pretty much said, hey, A-Rod, if you want out in 2022, we'll trade you. Like, how much of Adams is Rodgers? You know, how much of his dominance, his eliteness is tied to the arm and tethered to the arm of Aaron Rodgers? We've seen this game before with other wide receivers. Remember a couple of years ago, DeAndre Hopkins, when Watson got hurt, and insert Tom Savage, and everybody panicked, and he just absolutely peppered him with targets, and he was still Nuke Hopkins. Is Adams that? That's a question you got to ask yourself in Dynasty, because he's right there at that. You can still get top value for Adams, but if you wait any longer and Rodgers goes to wherever, and Adams ends up in Las Vegas, or he ends up in some other team, I mean, you could really see a value dip. So this is probably, if you're on the fence with Adams, this is probably the year to move him, because he's still going to be elite this season. 15-plus touchdowns, 1,400-plus yards if healthy, especially with that extra game this season. This might be the time you probably need to move him. So let's take a look at another deal. We got Jamar Chase. So we got a deal. Ryan Fitzpatrick and Jamar Chase were acquired for Amari Cooper, T. Higgins in the 2022 second. We know Amari Cooper's dealing with ankle injury. T. Higgins, so we got a little bit teammate swap. You got an old Ryan Fitzpatrick there who I'm going on record saying that I don't think he starts the whole season. I don't think he starts the whole season. I like Taylor Heineke. I think Washington likes Taylor Heineke. They gave him a 2-year extension. I'm not saying I like him as the long-term answer in Washington, but Fitzpatrick plays with reckless abandonment. He's going to get hurt. Unfortunately, knock on wood. Let me not say that. Let's not do that. He plays so recklessly that the chance of injury for Ryan Fitzpatrick is probably pretty high, because he just plays YOLO ball, doesn't give a damn about his body. He's going to fight for first down yardage, hang in the pocket. And then what will happen is he will have a 3-4 interception game, and they might just yank his ass to see what they got in Heineke. So, Superflex, I don't really care, because he's a 1-year rental. So, in my opinion, this is Jamar Chase for Cooper, Higgins, in a 2022 second. Even if Cooper's not the one, he's still, 26? 27? In a high-powered offense, you got T. Higgins, who we both think that we all think T and Jamar are 1,000-yard receivers. T. Higgins is in his second season. Jamar Chase is in his first. And then you get the kicker, you get the 2022 second. I would rather have Jamar Chase. I would rather Chase be on my squad. But I'd feel a lot better rolling out Cooper and Higgins in my starting lineup than just Jamar Chase. So this pains me, because I think Chase is going to be a stud. I still think T. Higgins is a stud. I'm probably rolling with Coop and Higgins and the 2022 second on this side of the deal. That's where I'm at with this one. I know I'm going to get pushback on this, because people just, the Jamar Chase, just crazy. But, like, let's take emotion out of this shit, right? Like, I think we got to separate fandom and emotion for reality and fantasy points. And that's what I'm here to do, not be prisoner of rookie euphoria. It's to talk about strategy and what makes the most sense for scoring us fantasy points. And what makes the most sense is Amari Cooper, T. Higgins in the 2022 second, man. And we got people in the this is what I like right here. Evan says Chase would have to be a top 7 wide receiver to make that worth giving up for him. More like Mark says, more like he'd have to be top 3. And I mean, even if that's the case, like, and I'm thinking of total fantasy points, right? If Chase is out there dropping 380 and T. Higgins is giving you 300 and Amari Cooper is giving you 300, I mean, it's still double the point value with those two players. Or 250. 250 for T, 250 for Amari Cooper. Or if you went low and said 200 fantasy points for Coop, 200 fantasy points for Higgins, and then Jamar Chase goes nuclear and gets you 350. I mean, you're still making out better with those two players, man. So, yeah, Stone said Chase might be unattainable right now with the Burrow news. Sell the rumor, buy the rumor. Sell the rumor, buy the news, buy the rumor, sell the news, however you want to say it. He's got the right frame of mind on this deal. Oh, shit, we got a lot to get to. All right, Hendo. Darrell Henderson. So, since I had COVID and all that, we hadn't got to really talk about Cam Akers and his value. We need to do a show about that. Might do a live stream with the patrons to just talk about Cam Akers and why I think he's going to be fine. I just think he's going to be fine. I think the panic and fear over the Achilles injuries today with modern medicine here in 2021, I think he's going to be fine. That's just my personal opinion, but I digress, all right? All right, so we've got Terrace Marshall and a 2023 first-round pick for Darrell Henderson and a 2020. Yeah, they tell you, it's buy the rumor, sell the news. Y'all got me confused, Stone. Damn it. Thank you, Mark. So Terrace Marshall in a 2023 first for Darrell Henderson in a 2022 second. I want Marshall in the first. It's pretty simple. I don't believe in Darrell Henderson long-term as an elite fantasy running back. I think he's a very good backup. I think he's a good... I think he could be a poor man's version of what Kareem Hunt is to Nick Chubb. I don't think the Los Angeles Rams wanted Darrell Henderson to be their primary ball carrier, hence the reason they spent the second-round pick on Cam Akers, and hence the reason why Xavier Jones and Jake Funk are getting so much pub and buzz out of camp right now. I don't foresee him being some massive volume king out of the backfield. I do think he can be a very good 1B back to a proper 1A. Give me Marshall. Give me the 2023 first. You can take that Darrell Henderson and that 2022 second, and I'll laugh to the bank because I do believe that Terrace Marshall will be, man, am I going to say it? Could he be the wide receiver one? Not this season, but it's going to be interesting to see in 2022 and beyond what Carolina thinks about Terrace Marshall versus DJ Moore. That could be a very savvy move right now, going out and getting Terrace Marshall and a 2023 first for Hendo in a second. Easy money, man. That's it. Where's the sound effects? That deserves an applause. That deserves an applause. This was an awesome trade. For goddamn, we're back to this one. Is it Kyler OB or Kyle Robb? Kyle Robb for a great job. Got another Hendo deal here. Rondale Moore, 2022 second and the 2022 third for Darrell Henderson. Rondale Moore, 2022 second, 2022 third for Henderson. This one's a little closer. This one's a little tighter. But I'm going to stick with Rondale Moore and the fact that he could really be the wide receiver 2 in Arizona this season. He very well could be the second leading target getter in that offense as a 5'7", 780-pound rookie. We're seeing him do some crazy things that we all knew because y'all have been tapped in, and I've been telling you about Rondale Moore since 2018. He's gotten no better mentor than DeAndre Hopkins, future Hall of Famer. You know, this one isn't as sexy because you didn't get the first, but I still think it's a savvy move acquiring a couple of those 2022 picks, Rondale Moore for Henderson. He's an RBBC, man. He's a running back by committee type guy. Again, best case scenario, in my opinion, is a poor man's Kareem Hunt, the 1B to a proper 1A. And we've heard Sean McVay say out of his own mouth, the whole key around Henderson is keeping him healthy. I like Rondale. Give me Rondale. Give me the black box prospect. Give me what he could become, even if he's never a 1,500-yard receiver, because I don't know if he will be. But I also don't think Rondale Moore has to do that in order to be a very good fantasy asset for us. I think you're looking at a potential wide receiver 2, and you need those guys. Unless you got a team full of DeAndre Hopkins and Justin Jeffersons and DK Metcalfs and Tyreek Hills, then you need the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3s. And what I'm really intrigued about for Rondale this season is how much he's utilized out of the backfield. They have no tight end of consequence in Arizona. So I think a lot of those short area targets, he's going to operate as a tight end target kind of guy, right? Those short area, intermediate targets for a player like Rondale Moore, who's a yak monster. I still think, dude, give me Rondell the picks for Darrell Henderson. All right. Another Hendo deal. But this one time we got some other stuff in there. So, Jeudy, Adam Troutman, Mac Jones, and a 2022 second for Henderson and Terry McLaurin. One more time. Jeudy, Adam Troutman, Mac Jones, and a 2022 second for Darrell Henderson and Terry McLaurin. Best player in this deal, Terry McLaurin. We lean there. We automatically lean to my right, your left. But Jerry Jeudy's right on his ass. I mean, it ain't like it's that far apart, okay? And then you're getting a quarterback in Mac Jones and a young tight end in Adam Troutman and a 2022 second for Henderson. So let's just say Jeudy and Troutman cancel out. Like that combination equals Terry McLaurin. So now we're looking at Mac Jones and a 2022 second for Darrell Henderson. And if this is super flex, I don't even need to get into that because y'all know the answer to that question. It's Mac Jones, and it's not even close. So if it's single quarterback, if it's just single quarterback, right? The single quarterback people in the comments like to tear me up and say I don't understand single quarterback. I probably don't because I don't fucking play in them because we play real fantasy football here, which is super flex. But if it's single quarterback, yeah, probably the Darrell Henderson, Terry McLaurin side because those are two skill position players scoring you the points. Mac Jones probably isn't going to start for you at quarterback. If it's not tight end premium, you don't really care about Adam Troutman. So it's Henderson and Terry McLaurin for Jerry Jeudy, essentially. But in Superflex, this is a smash home run side for Mac, Jeudy, Troutman, 2022 second. And if you want to throw another qualifier in there, being tight end premium, then you're getting a young tight end as well. And we got the man himself in the building who says it is Superflex. So if this is Superflex, Carl, good deal for you, man. I think this was savvy, man. You know, giving up McLaurin isn't easy because I am a Terry McLaurin stan. But getting Jeudy and Mac Jones back, I still think Mac is like right here. Mark says it. Mac is being severely Listen, I'm not saying he's Tom. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 12 dynasty quarterback, but he's going to be good. I think Mac Jones is going to be good, and I've been saying that since October of 2020 when I was being laughed out of the building. And by all the reports, he has held his own admirably against Cam Newton. And if depending on who you believe, he's had a better camp, taking more reps, having a better camp than Cam. I still would like to see him chill for a little bit, at least a couple of weeks. Let Cam do his thing. Let Matt get acclimated to real NFL speed, real in-game speed. But, dude, you've got a locked and loaded bona fide starter for the foreseeable future. I love this deal for you. All right. We know this dude. I'm hidden. You can't see me, but we know this dude got hurt yesterday, but apparently it's easy. It's no big deal. He's going to be all right. But we got Justin Jefferson being acquired for DeAndre Hopkins, a 2022 second and a 2023 second. Nuke the picks for Justin Jefferson. Now, I'm going to move this off the screen for a little bit. We got Nuke the picks and DeAndre Hopkins for Justin Jefferson. It's the same type of like conversation that we just had about Devontae Adams. Adams is older. He's aging. He's 28. DeAndre Hopkins is 28, 29. 2 second-round picks for Justin Jefferson. Win now, both of these wide receivers are top 5, right? Top 10. Even if you want to say in seasonal leagues, Justin Jefferson is not top 5. He's going to have regression, so he's top 8. Age, man, it's dynasty. Would you rather have Justin Jefferson? This is what it boils down to. The picks are icing. The picks are dope. Those 2023, I had this conversation yesterday with some people in the chat. Those 2023 seconds is what you should be going for because people know the top part of the 2023 class is going to be loaded, so you can really collect value with the seconds. That's gravy. I think that side of the deal is the winning side of the deal. Nuke those picks. But in Dynasty, man, I think you got to go. If you have an opportunity to downgrade at receiver from Nuke to Jefferson for this season, I think that's the prudent move. And you may have to sometimes, this is just my trade soliloquy rant, I don't care about losing the deal. I don't care. If you think that that's too much or that side won, I don't care about any of that. All I know is by the time Justin Jefferson is 29, DeAndre Hopkins is going to be out of the league. And if Jefferson's career continues along the path and trajectory that it is right now, he's still going to be an elite dynasty asset, while DeAndre Hopkins is getting ready to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So although that may have been a little bit of an, if you want to call it an overpay, I think in 8 years, you'll be fine with that deal, having Justin Jefferson on your roster. So let's take a look at it again. You get Justin Jefferson for Nuke in the 2 seconds. And you look at this young team. You got Sutton and Gibson and Keenan Allen ain't old, young. Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb with his new deal. I like that for this team. I like that. I like that deal. So that's my rant. That's my rant on that one. And y'all can debate Nuke versus Jefferson in the comments. And the final deal we're going to take a look at is a player that I've never really been high on. I've never really been high on Miles Sanders. Never, ever. Always said it. Not super high. 1 year wonder at Penn State. Can't stay healthy. Boston Scott's a pass catching back. Miles Sanders and a 2023 first for J.K. Dobbins. I believe the best player in this deal is J.K. Dobbins. So that's the start of the side that I lean on already. I like Dobbins more than Sanders. But you get a 2023 first in this. And Miles Sanders is still the starting running back for Philadelphia. Although that team may be kind of shitty, he's still the starting running back. And he's probably going to be the starting running back next year as well. Now, after that, we'll see if they extend him. We'll see what kind of deal he gets. We'll see if... I think Philly might let him test the waters, man. I really do. Really do. But getting the 2023 first back with the starting running back who at least has the job for another 2 years... man, it's the same type of kind of conversation that we just had on the last trade, and I think I would roll... I think I'd roll with Miles in the pick over Dobbins, even though I have a lot more confidence in Dobbins as the starting running back for his team. Potential to be an elite running back, because Miles Sanders ain't elite. He's not. I think JK's range of outcomes and what he could become is greater than what Miles Sanders has ever shown. But that 2023 pick is really enticing. And, you know, we look in the middle. If it's pick 106, 107, 108 in Superflex, it's going to be a valuable pick. That 2023 class is littered with running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. Yeah, I don't like it, but I would probably take Miles Sanders and the asset, knowing that that 2023 first packaged with something, or, you know, while you're on the clock is going to be extremely valuable. I'll take it, man. I will take Sanders, and what I would try to do, this is what I would try to do if this were my team, and I think Carl's in here, I would try to flip Sanders for something else. If that's a pick, if that's a player, if that's multiple players. Like if you can take Sanders and turn that into Trey Sermon and Rondell Moore, I think you won. If you could take Sanders and turn him into Michael Carter and another pick, I think you've won. I'd probably try to downgrade at running back, get off of Miles, get another pick, or get 2 young players. That's what I would do if I had Sanders. Like Sanders would be on the block now. I'd be trying to get off of that immediately if that were me. This is a good one. This is the move. This is what I'm talking. This is why y'all are smart, man. Stone said he flipped Sanders plus a lot for Akers, right? Like I would try to go get Akers, man. If you could take Sanders and get Akers plus, that's the bet I'd be willing to bank on. I'd be willing to bank on Akers coming back from that Achilles, and we're seeing Marlon Mack, Emmanuel Sanders. I know it's a different sport, but I believe basketball players use their ankles and Achilles quite a bit, and we just saw the Slim Reaper win gold for the United States after blowing out his Achilles tendon. missed the season. He came back, and he looks like easy money sniper, the best player on the planet, Kevin Durant. I know history, but it's 2021, man. I mean, modern medicine, yo. I'm not giving up on Akers, and right now he's a 9-10 round Dynasty startup pick. That's theft, in my opinion. So that's what I would do if I had Sanders. I'd be trying to pivot, try to get Akers, try to get a player like that. But man, it felt good to get back behind the mic, behind the camera, talk to y'all, bring y'all the trade show. Thank you all for joining me this Saturday morning, bright and early on Saturday morning. I appreciate my squad members. We are back on a schedule. So if you're checking this out on Saturday, have a great weekend. And we'll get this show loaded in the lab, FTN Podcast Network. That will drop Monday. So if you're listening to this on Monday, happy Monday. Have a great start to your week. Make sure you're rocking out with FTN. Make sure you're tapped into your boy GQ. All the good people at Destination Devy Patreon. I love y'all. Thanks for the support. Thanks for rocking with me during my little battle with COVID. Your boy's feeling good now. That shit wasn't going to keep me down for too long. But y'all be safe. Y'all stay good, man. And we'll holler at y'all next week. I'm out of this thing. Peace.